right, we're ready for basketball here in Tampa. It's another beautiful day. In fact, it was 80-plus degrees for the 10th consecutive day here in the Tampa Bay region. That is not usual for February. We had a record 84 degrees yesterday in downtown Tampa, so it has been warm here to be sure. Let's give you the starting lineup first for the Florida Tech Panthers. Number 5 is Fanny Hawkinson. She has started all but one game this year. She is the point guard, leading the team in assists at 6.2 assists per game. Amanda Allen, number 10, is the only player for Florida Tech that has started all 25 games this year. She averages 10.5 points. Allen, a 6-foot senior from Oslo, Norway. I should mention Hawkinson is a junior, 5'8 junior from Stockholm, Sweden. Gudlag Julius' daughter is number 11. She is from Iceland, a senior, 5'8 senior. And also Severine Ugin is number 15. She is averaging over, almost 18 points a game the last 3 games, averaging 8 points per game on the season. She is a freshman, 6'1 guard from Sandkava, Norway. And Fanny Hawkinson is number 20. She is a junior, her first year at FIT. She is from Sweden. So literally the entire starting lineup is from outer terrain.
Yes.
Jack Ike has joined me here. I mentioned a moment ago that you were kind of caught in the Campbell Causeway traffic.
And then just before that, there was an accident on US 19 in Pinellas County. So my 45-minute drive was an hour and a half.
I understand. No problem. We've set the scene on this game. Both teams very hot. Let's give you the John Reynolds, by the way, in his 33rd season as the head coach at Florida Tech. 579 wins at the school. Ariel Wilson, her first year as the assistant at Florida Tech. Starting lineup for Tampa, Julia Ingram is number 3. She is the 5'9 junior from Clearwater, Florida, Palm Harbor University High School. Chris Nelson, the only senior on the team, one of the co-captains, a 5'4 point guard from Augusta, Georgia, leading in assists and steals for the Spartans. Dory Nudge, she was first team All-SSC a year ago. I think she'll be there again, maybe the player of the year. She is having a great season, leading the team in points and rebounds. 15.8 points a game, 9.3 rebounds, and in SSC play, 17 points per game. LaShayla Wright Ponder, an automatic double-double most nights. She is jumping center, got the tip. She's a 6-foot junior from Bloomington, Minnesota. And the 5th starter is Malia Sullivan, number 24, 5'11 sophomore from Winter Haven High School, Bartow, Florida. Spartans obviously got the tip. They will orchestrate for the first shot of the game. Julia Ingram, baseline jumper, a little strong, and the rebound hauled down by Fanny Hawkinson. Tom Jesse in his 18th season at UT, 360 wins, 167 losses, a 68% winning percentage. Associate head coach Caitlin Mitrick, her 8th year at UT. And the graduate assistant in her first year, Belle Bistro. And the Spartans with a steal. Here's Chris Nelson, fast break, left hand, too strong. And again, the rebound hauled in by Fanny Hawkinson.
A good start, though, even though they haven't scored twice, as Ingram was able to get off a ball fake and got a nice jumper. And Nelson with the drive. Spartans are looking to push the ball. A win today, and they could wrap up no worse than a tie. You probably said that, but
I did not.
No, okay.
I'm glad you showed up finally. You always give me a hard time because I try to get here by 2:33 to beat the traffic.
Yes.
You always give me a hard time. Today is why. Today is why. Here's Wright Ponder, strong inside. Ooh, misses point blank. Does get the rebound and put it up and in. That's how she gets a lot of the double-double.
We've mentioned that before. Half of her rebounds are missed shots that she put back.
Averaging 14 points and 8.5 rebounds per game. There's Julia's daughter. She has been a good player here for a long time.
Over the years, yeah.
We've seen Florida Tech on this court in a preseason tournament, and there's a three-pointer knocked down by Fanny Hawkinson, the junior from Stockholm, Sweden.
Yeah, they played 2 games here in a tournament. They did not play Tampa, but it was against schools from a little bit north of here, and each team played a northern school and got 2 games over 2 days.
Sullivan, baseline jumper is good, and Tampa regains the lead. It might seesaw here for a while. Talking to Coach John Reynolds, he told me that they were going to try to shoot 30 to 40 three-pointers today. That's the goal.
Wow.
And that's what they do, and they are good at it. I mentioned, Jack, before you got here, they've won 4 of their last 6, and 3 of them were on the road, including a win at Florida Southern.
Okay.
So they are playing at a high level lately. There's Wright Ponder grabbing the rebounded missed shot by Julius Donner.
Well, you're right about that number, though. They've taken almost 600 3-pointers, and they have played 25 games.
Yes.
So it's more than 20 a game.
No, he said 30. We need maybe 40 to beat these big, strong Tampa athletes. And there's Sullivan to the rack.
Did he mention you have to make a fair share, too?
Yeah, he wants them to make them. He said,
Okay.
he says, the way Tampa plays, we're only going to get 50 shots if we play their game. We want to try to push it and get 60 or 70 on the day. But as you say, you got to make them, and that was another miss that was makeable right there.
Yep.
Tom Jesse worried about this game, as he always is. In the SSC, you got to be ready to play.
Yeah, but he'd be worried if he was playing you and me and 3 other people we picked.
Yeah. And now an open 3 by Allen is good.
Oh,
That's what I'm telling you. They will make the threes. Percentage-wise, you've got the numbers here.
Allen at 35%. Morton is a 35% three-point shooter. Nobody above that. They're the 2 best.
Yeah, there's a third one in there as well. Hawkinson, November Morton with less attempts, but 35% shooters.
Yeah.
But they will shoot them. They will make them. And now a traveling violation called on Malia Sullivan, the sophomore. That'll be one of the keys, trying not to turn it over. Both teams, 1 turnover thus far. Scott Lynn and Jack Ike with you. The first of a doubleheader. The women here just underway. First quarter tied at 6. The men coming up at 7:30.
And I think that's going to be a good game, the men's game. It's a very winnable game for Tampa.
Well, we'll see. I've got some news on that front we'll tell you about. You know the injuries and the illness factor?
Yeah.
It's not good news, and I'll share that with you later. All right, my friend. There's a nice drive. No good. The shot missed by Paulin. She went to the left hand. She played at Hillsborough Community College a year after she started her collegiate career at Northwest Florida State College. First year at FIT. Running a little bit of the weave. Nudge into the lane. She took an extra step.
Brought that heel up at the last second.
We mentioned these 2 coaches, both been around a while. Obviously 18 years now for Tom Jesse and 33 years as the head coach at Florida Tech for John Reynolds. John Reynolds told me they're good friends. They talk once or twice a week on the phone. I mean, that's one of the cool things about the Sunshine State Conference.
Yeah.
These coaches stick around. They know each other. They know each other's families. They do stuff together. It's really a neat deal.
But 40 minutes twice a year, it changes.
And a steal. Tampa comes up with it. You're right about that. These 40 minutes, they're not friends. They're adversaries. And now that's going to be a held ball. I thought it might have been steps before that.
Pick your turnover.
Yep, the held ball goes to Florida Tech on this occasion.
Aaliyah Abney into the Spartan line. Pretty much the super sub on this team.
Yeah, and she has started a couple of games in there as well. But she has come off. She scored in double figures in the last game Wednesday at Embry-Riddle. Here's a 2-point jumper. Good. Knocked down by November Morton, who's into the game, averaging 11.5 points a game, which is tops on the team. And she did not start, so she's coming off the bench. They have nice balance, but no big scorer. Sullivan. It's 8-6, Florida Tech. Chris Nelson, she can shoot the 3, and she knocked it down. Chris Nelson, that's a new addition to late last year. She started shooting and making threes, and she has not stopped. She's the best percentage-wise on the Spartans at 37%. There is a long 3 by Fanny Paulin, and she drains it. Her 36th make from beyond the arc this season. They have players that have made 35, 41, 51, 32, 27. They launch them, and they do make them.
Yeah, they look comfortable shooting them.
I watched Fanny Paulin warm up, and there's a turnover by Sullivan. Threw it right into the hands of Severine Ugan, who has come off the bench as well. Amanda Allen gives it up. They go around to November Morton. Hands it now to Ugan. Ugan drives baseline on Sullivan. Is denied. Pretty good spacing and ball movement here. Nice defense that time by Ingram, and the shot no good. Morton could not draw iron. Here comes Abney. Near turnover.
Wow.
Sullivan saved it.
Spartans already with 4 turnovers, a little bit uncharacteristic.
Abney gives it to Nelson. Hit a 3 from there a moment ago. Does not shoot it this time. They go into Sullivan. Turn around, no good. Missed it right at the rack. It goes out to Ingram. Shot clock reset at 20, but Nelson says, I'm taking none of that. We're going to shoot it right up. No good, and here comes November Morton in transition. And finds the
good
cutter.
D.
No, yeah, good D. Sullivan got a hand on it. Nelson ends up with it. Tampa, winner of 17 consecutive games after starting 2-3 this season. 16-0 in the SSC.
The sky was not falling 5 games into the season.
No, it only felt like it. And another turnover by the Spartans. Good defense. Morton comes away with the steal. And now the pass. Boy, that was dangerous, but it was effective. And a little jumper is too long, but hustling to get it. They reset the shot clock, I think. And
should not have.
Should not have.
Oh, they ran it to they reset it at 20, so maybe it
might have been about
seconds
20.
here and there.
Yeah, it wasn't too deep in the clock to begin with.
Yeah.
Paulin, nice move to the basket, doesn't get the finish. I watched her in the pregame warm-up. She went around the horn, around the lane, shooting like from the left elbow, the right elbow. I didn't see her miss.
Really?
I mean, and she would shoot like 5 at each spot around the lane and did not miss. She has a great stroke.
Must have been inspired by the NBA three-point contest over the weekend.
Perhaps. Nelson, a nice little step inside and the jumper.
You know, we're only 8 minutes into this game, but it's been nice to see Chris Nelson actually creating 2 shots so far.
Yeah.
Sometimes she defers and waits until she needs to.
Looking to shoot. And there's the 3. No good. Got her own shot. Ugan went to get it. She's shooting 32% from deep, but you can see.
Is there a green light?
There's a green light on 3-point shots in this game. He said, John Reynolds said, 30 to 43s, minimum, maybe more, he said. So now I started laughing. He goes, I'm not kidding. And he wasn't.
Well, they've taken 6.
The rebound by Fanny Hawkinson. Gives it up. Allen kicks it out. And a whistle and a foul on Abney.
That's the first foul of the game.
With 121 left here in the first quarter, we finally have a stoppage of play.
Spartans don't foul much. They are one of the, they may be first in the nation.
That's what
least
John
amount
Reynolds
of fouls.
said. Least amount of fouls, so they don't foul very often. That's the first foul of the game, as you said. Florida Tech. That was one thing John Reynolds told me. He said, we don't want to foul either because they don't foul. So we don't want to foul either. Boy, that's gone by script, hasn't it?
Yeah.
No fouls whatsoever.
Spartans are also a very good free throw shooting team. So when they get to the line, they're going to knock down a bunch.
Florida Tech looks a little different from when we saw them in the season because Aniqua Swan is no longer with the team. She was averaging about 10 points, 4.5 rebounds a game, making about 58% of her shots. And they've gone that. What happened though when she, in her absence, if you will, they added another shooter.
Okay.
And so all of a sudden, and I think it might be Fanny Paulin that moved into the starting lineup. I'm not 100% sure. Or it might have even been Ugan who started about half the games. But they ended up with another shooter in, giving them 3-point shooters at every location. So, and that's actually been a very good thing. I mentioned, Jack, before you got here, and I know you probably know this, but they both beat Embry-Riddle in their last games, which is very unusual. But especially how Florida Tech did it Saturday, falling behind 24-5 in the first quarter, still down 35-19 in the second, and then coming back to win in overtime. I asked John Reynolds, I said, so what do you think about your team? He goes, well, we've lost some games we should have not lost, and we've won some games we should not have won. He goes, I think you just can't be unhappy when it kind of averages out that way.
And they're about a 500 team.
They are that. Into the lane, 6 to shoot. Turnaround jumper is good, and the basket will count. Amanda Allen, who is the only player to have started every game this season. She has a couple of double-doubles this year. She's in her 4th year at FIT and is a 3-year starter. She actually even started 6 games her freshman season. But she had a nice game against Embry-Riddle. She's out of Norway, and she knocks down the free throw. 82% shooter. They make free throws, and they make three-point shots. So you don't want to be in a three-point shooting contest with them.
Yeah, they're a 73.5% free throw shooting team.
Largest lead of the game for Florida Tech. Wright Ponder's back in the game. It's back to the starting five for Tampa. They're going to try to reestablish that low post game. They didn't seem to have much success with it the first go-round. 3 to shoot right now. Sullivan to the lane, puts it up off the glass and in.
Great drive. Aware of the clock. When she drove the lane, she was able to see the clock.
I think she also could hear from the bench.
Yeah.
And there's a three-pointer drained by Morton. Again, one of the 35% shooters from deep. And she drained that one. She's from Clearwater, Countryside High School. Coming off the bench here, has scored 22 points in 3 games. Against Lynn last year, and at Berry and at Palm Beach Atlantic this year. And there's whistle. 3.4 seconds for Tampa to try to get the ball in and score. A 9-point lead for Florida Tech. In it goes Wright Ponder with the right hand, gets the basket, and that'll be the final shot of the first quarter. So Florida Tech, which trailed at home against Embry-Riddle Saturday, 24-5 in the first quarter, goes up by 9 here in Tampa.
Wow.
And it comes up here at the end of the first quarter. It is a 5-point Panther lead, 20-15.
Well,
nice to have you alongside, my friend.
I had to hustle here. Thought I didn't have to hustle here.
No.
You talked about 3-point shots, 7 so far. The thing is, they made 5.
5 out of 7.
So they're shooting about 70% there. Will it continue? Well, they haven't been really contested on a lot of them.
Right.
They've just come down and let it fly.
I agree, and I think that's one thing Tom Jesse's probably talking about right now, saying, have we mentioned, like in all the practices,
that's their game?
that's what they're going to do? They're going to shoot 33. He said the same thing. Tom Jesse earlier, separately, told me they're going to shoot 33s. Well, and then I talked to John Reynolds, and he goes, we're going to shoot 30 or more, maybe 40. As many as we can shoot, we're going to shoot, because we're not going to be into a slow-down game with Florida or with Tampa, because with their twin towers, Wright Ponder and Nudge, we can't win that game. We can win a game if we shoot threes and make them. Well, they're off to a great start.
You know, you look at the shooting percentages and the number of shots attempted so far. Tampa is 7 of 14. That's 50%. And Florida Tech is 7 of 15, just a little bit under. But it's the 5 3-pointers that are making the difference.
Rebounds about even. Tampa 8-7 advantage. But I do know there were a couple of offensive rebounds that gave Florida Tech opportunities to score. So second chance points. Actually, it's 3-2 Florida Tech with a 1-point advantage there, I guess, in that regard. I thought they might have more. Now Wright Ponder gets free, scores again. The move to bring her back seems to pay off so far. And you'll watch John Reynolds then try to adjust. He'll run a double team at Wright Ponder probably the next time she gets the ball down low. This is Cheyenne Scott into the lane, and she's going to be called for steps by veteran official Ron Leddington, who does a lot of Division I basketball.
We haven't seen him that much this year.
We have not. He said, I talked to him a bit ago, and he said, you know, I get a lot of D1 games, but I started in D2. I love the Sunshine State Conference. I like to do as many games as I can. He was just at the DePaul game during the All-Star weekend.
DePaul is in Chicago?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. And so he was there.
Does he do men's or women's?
To be honest, I didn't ask. I think he does both.
DePaul is a very good, and for years had a very good women's team.
Troy Carr and Anthony Napolitano also on the floor, along with the lead official Ron Leddington today. Good crew and a good game thus far. 20-17. Nelson, another three. Is good. We're tied at 20.
9-0 run. You know, the one thing I was going to bring up, but I thought I didn't really need to yet, when the Spartans went down, they don't panic.
No, they don't. And that's one of the reasons they've won 17 straight. They were down 18 late in the third quarter against Eckerd and came back and won.
And trailed Eckerd by 11 the second time they played.
Here.
Second half.
Yeah. In the third quarter again, Yep. So an 11-0 run for Tampa. Working inside. Ugan. No, here comes Tampa once again. liking to get out and run a little bit. Sullivan, Abney back in the game. Nelson thought about another three, but said, no, I'm happy with my 10 points in 11 minutes. Inside, beautiful pass and a three-point chance as Nudge scores right at the rim.
That's just her second shot of the game. First basket.
Dory Nudge averaging almost 16 points per game, and as I said, averaging 17.1 in SSC games. And a timeout is going to be called here with 8:25 left in the second quarter. Nudge, first team All-SSC a year ago, was the SSC Newcomer of the Year after she had, of course, played D1 basketball her freshman year at the University of South Florida. Redshirted as a sophomore and then transferred and became a sophomore, redshirt sophomore last year. Had a nice season.
Great season.
Averaged 14.2 points a game. She's one of the co-captains along with Chris Nelson. Nelson, the only senior on the floor, but Nudge, of course, great reputation league-wide. And again, a leading contender for Player of the Year.
Yeah, it's less than a handful that you would put into that group.
It was 20-11 late in the first quarter.
Yes, it was.
Tampa has now scored 13 in a row. And John Reynolds says timeout. John Reynolds was an assistant in the first year of women's basketball at FIT. The next year he became the head coach, and this is his 33rd season. 579 wins, 359 losses. That's a nice winning percentage.
Yes, it is.
They were 8-20 a year ago, and it's got to be frustrating, you know, when you have those down years, kind of like UT men are having this year. A lot of injuries for UT men. But 11 20-win seasons in those 33 years for John Reynolds. As Nudge makes the free throw. She's a good free throw shooter. 75% on the year, but I think she's actually better than that. I think she's had a couple of games where she struggled. Now all the way to the basket is Hawkinson. How did she get that free? Was there a pick up top?
She caught Julia Ingram leaning the wrong way, and then nobody helped. Nobody helped.
Well, that broke the skid of 14 consecutive points. Abney working. Ingram had an open three, but says, I'll give it to Nudge. Instead, it goes to Abney, who drives down the lane. Open layup, missed it with the left hand. Kind of threw it over her shoulder nonchalantly. Style points, but it didn't go in, so that's not so good. Fanny Hawkinson from Sweden. Fanny Paulin is in the game as well, far corner. The ball off the hands. Now Paulin with it. Catch and shoot three. I'm telling you. She just missed that. But it's weird to have two players named Fanny.
Yeah.
They're both from Sweden, so that must be a popular name.
Could be. Yeah.
You know, I mean. Carol. Fanny works.
Yeah.
Nelson. Left elbow jumper. Good. Chris Nelson's 5 for 7 from the floor. She's got a game-high 12 points. Allen gives it on top to Fanny Paulin. Allen into the lane. Moves left-hand shot. Too strong.
That's a tough matchup for Engram if she posts her up, because she's got 4 or 5 inches on her.
Sullivan to Abney for three. Yes! Abney, just a 29% shooter from deep, but when she's that open, she's going to take that shot. That's her 15th triple of the season. Morton drives past Abney, lays it up, and too strong. Boy, some layups just not going in. And mass substitutions coming. Next dead ball for Florida Tech. 3 at the table, make it 4. Nelson gives it on top to Ingram. Caught it with a one-hand effort there. That was nice. Ingram looking inside. They're trying to go deep. But Nudge just can't get position. 7 to shoot, and Ingram did. Rebound hauled in by Severine Ugan. That is a tough move. And a good effort by Hawkinson. Nelson did all she could, but Hawkinson got, again, right to the rim. Sullivan had good position, lost the ball. Too strong.
Oh.
Too strong. Got her own rebound and put it in.
Just right.
Yep, third time's the charm.
Yeah.
Tom Jesse probably wondering what's going on when you're missing from 2 feet.
It's already 16 rebounds for Tampa today.
And to the basket. Boy, got free, but just couldn't get it to go.
All of a sudden, it's a double-digit lead.
And Abney rolls it in. Sullivan and Hawkinson collided there. Hawkinson's sort of slow to get up.
Yeah.
She has averaged 6.2 assists per game, 8.3 points, 4 rebounds a game. So Hawkinson kind of does a lot from that point guard spot. Nice feed inside, but Paulin couldn't catch it cleanly. It ends up being a 3 for Amanda Allen.
That's the first one they've made this quarter, 1 for 3, so they've cut down on the volume. Tried to go inside.
Allen averaging 10.5 points a game. She's the leading 3-point shooter and maker. 51 of 145
nice
coming into the
pass.
game. That was a thing of beauty. And the basket by Nudge. Was that Ingram again?
Yes.
Yes, I thought so. I looked up just to see the catch. I wanted to make sure I gave credit where it was due. Julia Ingram,
3 assists.
Yeah, 3 assists already. Kind of a skip pass. They get it free. Another 3 by Allen. Too strong. Nelson the rebound. Nelson gets about 3 rebounds a game, and she does a good job despite being only 5'4". Miss at the rim. Fanny Paulin the rebound. Inside it goes. They kick it out. Wow. It looked to me like Allen could have laid it off the glass, but I guess she knew what she was doing.
She wanted a 3.
She wanted a 3 from a teammate, and she got it. Knocked down by Hawkinson. She's got 8 points. Allen leads the way with 9. They're 7 of 12 from beyond the arc. Tampa 3 of 6. Lob to Nudge. Catch and lay in.
Perfect.
Beautiful assist once again.
Dory's gone from just making a basket a few minutes ago to 9 points.
Julia Ingram in the Minaret newspaper, the student newspaper here at UT, was mentioned in the story as being the point guard for the team. Well, tonight she kind of has been throwing that lob pass in as that basket is made at the 3-minute mark. It's 38-30.
I don't know if I would say she's the point guard of the team. She's the shooting guard.
Yeah, she's the shooting guard, and Chris Nelson. Although tonight, Chris Nelson's the shooting guard.
Yes, they have switched roles. Maybe they both read the article and said, didn't realize it.
Must have been. Abney, nice move again. Launched it with a left hand. Nudge is fouled as she scores. The call by Ron Lettington. And 4 substitutions will be making their entrance here for the Panthers.
I don't think Dory scored in the first quarter. She has 11 now.
Yeah, Nelson 12, Nudge 11. Sullivan and Wright Ponder with 6 apiece, and Abney with 5. Ingram hasn't scored, but she has credited with 3 assists. I would think that was 4. Wasn't it a minute ago?
No, it's been 3.
Okay. So Nudge with a chance for a 3-point play to tie for game scoring honors. Rolls it in, and coming into the game is Wright Ponder. She'll come in for Nudge.
Give her a little breather here.
So Dory coming back strong, 12 points, 5 of 7 shooting for both Nelson and Nudge in this game.
Maya Justo in the lineup as well for Tampa.
And she's playing with Chris Nelson on the floor at the same time. That's the first time I think we've seen this.
First I remember.
Maya Justo, 5'5" freshman from Naples, Gulf Coast High School.
Your current point guard with more than likely the future point guard.
Exactly. Chris Nelson might have hurt herself.
Yeah, she got
on the crossover.
I think she might have got a knee in the thigh coming off a pick.
The basket scored by Scott. Cheyenne Scott, her first 2. Nelson gives to Engram. Maya Justo isn't shy. She can shoot the 3. Skip pass to Engram. There's the open 3, and it's good. We will see that next year.
Yeah.
The pass from Maya Justo to the would-be senior next year, Julia Ingram, for 3. Great 3-point shooter. Ingram is the leading shot 3-point shooter and maker for the Spartans. Came into the game 31 of 88. Driving, giving it up. Handed to Jamie Lynn Jarvis, and then it ends up a traveling violation on Julius Daughter. You know, one thing I noticed in looking at the stats, Julius Daughter is, handles the ball a lot and is a shooting guard and whatnot, but she's not made a three all year, and she's only attempted three all season. So just not a three. That's not part of her repertoire or not what she's asked to do. There is the three-point shot by Justo. No good.
Nice.
Right ponder.
Little scoop shot.
Little finger roll.
Yeah. Boy, the Spartans have turned the tide in this game quickly.
It was 20-11 Florida Tech. It's now 46-32 Spartans. Julius Daughter doesn't look for the free throw line shot. Gave it up to Scott, who missed the jumper. Right ponder. Another rebound.
And Sullivan fouled and will go to the line. Nelson, nice assist.
And with that, 5 new Panthers will check into the game.
Changing lines.
John Reynolds did not like the look of that.
Nope.
So everybody who was in sits down. And John Reynolds is making a point that you just do not let that happen. That was too easy for Tampa. Right ponder sits down, Nudge coming back in. Maya Justo, the freshman. It's pretty cool to see the point guards past or future and present on the floor at the same time.
Well, he must have liked a matchup he saw, even though they're giving up height in both cases.
And a foul is going to be called on Justo. Justo 5'5". Chris Nelson is 5'4". So those are the two players that are out there defending the lane and the basket right now. And the inbound pass comes to Allen. Allen gives it up to Ugan. Goes to Allen, and she took steps. Well, that's frustrating, I'm sure, for John Reynolds and Ariel Wilson, his assistant. An unforced turnover. 6 turnovers now for the Panthers. Spartans had 5, I think maybe all in the first quarter.
Yeah.
And still with 5 now.
Yeah, they settled down. They had 5 in about 6 minutes. Reined it in since then.
Nudge, nice pass to Justo. Three-pointers short. Bounces long, and the rebound is hauled in by Hawkinson. Now, Justo's 0 for 2 in this from beyond the arc, but she came into this game shooting 50% from beyond the arc. Limited opportunities, 4 of 8.
She's been on line, just short on both of them. Hit the front of the rim and bounced along.
Justo's trying to defend November Morton, and he kind of got hooked up a little bit. The pass was a little too high. Fanny Paulin turned around and looked at the official, Anthony Napolitano, and said, I think that that pass was might have been a little high, but I think the recipient was pushed in the back.
Oh.
There might have been a foul. That's
okay.
what Fanny Paulin was saying to the official. And we've reached halftime.
Boy, that just zipped, didn't it?
The second quarter felt a lot better to Tom Jesse and his players than the first quarter did. Again, it was 20-11 Florida Tech in the first quarter. Tampa rallied, got back within 5 at the end of the quarter, and now the second period, pretty much all Tampa. 34-12 second quarter for the Spartans. Leading scorers, Nelson and Nudge with 12 apiece, Sullivan with 9, Right Ponder with 8 points and 6 boards, on pace for a double-double. And again, 3 assists for Ingram, 3 assists for Nelson, 3 assists for Sullivan, a couple of assists for Nudge, as a matter of fact. Leading scorer is Allen with 9 points for the Panthers, 8 points for Hawkinson, and 7 for Morton, the 3 leading scorers. We'll come back with the halftime statistics, and I did not see Justin Pekka. Sometimes he'll join us for a preview of the men's game. I did not see him just right up until the start of the women's game, so he might be coming in a little late.
Yep.
So we'll just go ahead and take our break and come back about 10 or 12 minutes from right now. Enjoy the dancers as we take a break, and we'll let you listen to the music and watch the dance teams. Scott Lynn and Jack Ike with you at the break. It's Tampa 49, Florida Tech 32. And we're just about ready to start the second half here in Tampa. The Spartans, trying to win their 18th consecutive game, have a 49-32 lead over Florida Tech. The Panthers, 8-9 in the SSC, came in just a half game out of fourth place in the SSC rankings. And again, the first four teams host first-round games in the SSC tournament. So every game's a big game for both teams. But for Florida Tech, it's sort of crucial as they have an eye towards the tournament. Tampa, meantime, trying to keep unbeaten in the SSC. Unbelievable 16-0 record thus far.
Every game we call and they win adds to the record.
It does.
For school record, anyway.
Good luck. Julia's daughter will inbound here right in front of us here to start the second half, and she inbounds to Fanny Hawkinson, and let's play ball. Third quarter action here in Tampa. Again, it was 80 degrees again today.
Yes.
10th straight day of 80 or more.
I got my electric bill the other day, and I'm like, wait a minute, February is supposed to be one of those nice months where you don't pay as much.
I know, but the air conditioner's been running. At my house, at least.
Yes, it has at ours.
Julia's daughter working on right ponder. Off the glass, strong, right ponder the rebound.
That might have been a design play out of the opening possession because she only had one shot going into this.
And we hadn't seen that particular setup where she was going against right ponder. And there's a foul as Nudge got the ball, and just moments later, Fanny Hawkinson got there.
Kind of like slow motion bowling pins there.
Everybody's okay, though. That's the good thing. And November Morton is going to check in. Who's she coming in for? It's going to be for Julia's daughter. That might have been a design play one time.
Well, it was executed very well. She just didn't knock it down.
Chris Nelson will inbound the basketball for Tampa. You don't always see the point guard, the little 5'4" point guard inbounding. But it has not been a problem.
No.
Got it into Sullivan, and now Nudge took steps before going to the rack. Didn't agree with the call, so she left the ball at the free throw line.
Non-verbal statement.
Yeah. Morton gets it inside. Ingram does a decent job defending Ugan, who is taller at 6'1". Ugan missed the reverse layup. And now Abney for three. Yes, indeed. Aliyah Abney knocks down her second triple of the game.
All of a sudden, it's a 20-point lead.
And timeout is called by John Reynolds. Going to be a short timeout.
Enough for him to get a new player in the lineup. I think he just didn't like the way somebody came out. Well, they called it a full timeout, so they're sitting down.
Okay. So with 8:55 left, it is the 20-point lead, and I think that's the thing that John Reynolds wanted. It needed more than a 30 to talk about what they have to do to try to turn this around. Again, Florida Tech came out making threes, doing all kind of good stuff. Led 20-11 in the first quarter. Since that time, it's been all Tampa.
Yeah, they were 5 of 7 from three-pointers. You talked about them trying to take 25 to 30 a game. Well, they slowed down in the second quarter. They only took 5. They're 7 of 12 right now, but they were 5 of 7 at one point.
Well, and again, we talk about the adjustment Tom Jesse might have made even at halftime. We're only a minute and 5 seconds into the second half, but again, they have not gotten the number of threes that they hoped to.
Well, I know at the end of the first quarter when they were 5 of 7, we said, I bet you Tom will address it in the huddle between quarters. And
he did.
They took 5, only made 2.
Right.
Still, that's 40%. Not bad, though.
Cheyenne Scott into the game. Hawkinson gives it around. Jada Hall is the player that checked in, and now her entry pass was stolen by Sullivan, who gets the ball and the layup.
That was a good pass by Nudge because she kind of had to thread the needle on that one.
Nice to reward the defender who forced the turnover. Jada Hall shoots a three and knocks it down. Her second made three-pointer of the season. She was just 1 of 9, but she came off the bench willing to do what the coach wanted, which was shoot some threes. And down it went. Nice job by the freshman, 5'7" freshman from Atlanta.
I think they gave her a 2.
Oh, I think you're right.
I think she was inside the line.
I stand corrected. Well, she should have stepped back a step then. She would have had her second make. And there's another basket by Nudge. She's got 14 now. 3 Tampa players in double figures. Sullivan joining the ranks on that layup a moment ago with 11. There's a three-point shot, almost banked in by Paulin. Paulin, who literally could not miss during the pregame warm-ups as I watched her, has had some tough times.
Well, someone's guarding her.
There is
that makes a difference.
That does make a difference. She's 1 of 5 from the floor overall in the game. Abney, no good, but the rebound hauled in by Nudge, and she's fouled. Let's see if it's on Allen. Yeah, it is on Amanda Allen, her second personal foul. Nobody in foul trouble on either team. We haven't had many fouls at all.
You know, the Spartans scored 34 points in the second quarter. That's a half for them. They averaged 66 on the year per game, so that's just a touch over a normal half.
Yeah. Abney sits down now. It's back to the original starting 5 for Tampa as Nudge misses the free throw.
That's a rarity.
Tampa was 3 of 3 before that one in this game, and Florida Tech's 1 of 1. Again, not many fouls called. I think the officials have figured out you get paid the same.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't have to be a long game. Jada Hall.
Yeah, you don't get anything extra for having a quota on fouls.
There's the three-point shot again, just doesn't go. The ball kicked out of bounds. I think it's off of Jada Hall. It is. And Fanny Paulin just looks a little frustrated.
Well, she didn't look comfortable getting the shot. She came off a pick, got ready to put the shot up, and wasn't quite in place. So she tried to kind of do a little hop and skip over a little bit and just didn't look great at it.
Her career game was at Embry-Riddle on the 4th of January. 14 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists. The points and assists were career highs. Nice all-around game there for sure. Here's Sullivan getting an open look, and Nudge just with an easy rebound.
That's too easy.
And that's the thing that is driving John Reynolds crazy is they make an initial stop, but there's just a lot of offensive rebounds being collected. Shot by Michaela Daniels is no good. Michaela Daniels, I stand corrected. Michaela Daniels, a sophomore from Augusta, Georgia, missed the free throw line jumper. And I think we're going to see Amanda Allen coming, or Ugan is back in, rather.
You know, we've talked all game about living and dying on the three-pointer for Florida Southern, or Florida Tech, I should say. Look at the points in the paint right now, 30-6.
Yes. That was what John Reynolds said. If we can't win if they get shots inside, well, that's the telltale sign right there. Abney's back into the game for Wright Ponder. That pass was taken away. Good anticipation there by Hawkinson. A jumper, no good, this time by Hall. Abney with the rebound. Jada Hall, as a freshman, showing that she's not shy.
No.
Get the ball launched basketward. Nudge all the way to the basket for a layup.
I don't know if you noticed it. I think Florida Tech did. She gave a little glance away like she was going to pass, and then ducked it in and made the bucket.
Severina Ugan is a freshman, 6'1". She has the size to battle the more experienced Nudge, but again, lacking some of that experience.
Yep.
Again, that was a very nice move at the other end, but a basket that time down by Scott. She now has 4 points. On top to Nelson. Nelson started this game red hot.
Traveling. Boy, that is about the 5th one on both sides of the ball today. A little left-right marching step before you dribble.
Yep. It's interesting, Tom Jesse talking to one of the officials about that. It appeared traveling to us, did it not?
I thought so. I thought it was a...
But I know at first I thought he was discussing it with Sullivan. And now a steal by Nelson. Boy, a clean strip. The senior playing very well today. Might be our postgame guest today, the way she started out this game and set the tone. Although if Nudge ends up with 30 points and 15 rebounds, it's hard not to get Dory again.
Yep. We did her.
I think she's tired of coming over to talk to us, though.
Yeah.
We try to get the player of the game, and Nudge.
We've got to share the wealth, maybe.
Yeah. And there's going to be a timeout called, 5-minute mark, so we'll take a break. 61-36 the score. Tampa leading by 25. I know I believe we had Chris Nelson in the first game of the year.
Very early, yeah.
She had, I think, her career assist game of 7 that day. And you know what? It was 18 points. That's why she had a career high 18 points against Spring Hill in the opener, and we did have her come over. And I don't think we've talked with her since, and I think it'll be time for her if this stays the way it does right now.
She would be a worthy candidate. Look at her, 5 for 7 from the floor, 2 for 3 on threes, 4 rebounds, 4 assists.
Yep, just a real nice
couple
game.
Steals.
She's had 7 assists 4 times this year for her career high, averaging 4.5 assists. Remember, she missed 3 non-conference games early on because of an injury, and Maya Justo started those 3 games and really, looked pretty good. We thought we might see a lot of her, but as it turned out, Chris Nelson has returned and played the bulk of the minutes at the point guard spot. It's been pretty rare. I mean, Justo's gotten into 17 of the 23 games now, so she has seen action, but just not as many minutes as we thought. She has a lot of flair with her game.
Nelson never looks like she's tired, and she just doesn't make a lot of mistakes. So unless there's foul trouble, I don't think Tom Jesse is interested in taking her off the court.
Tom Jesse, interestingly, LaShayla Wright-Ponder was trying to get onto the floor there. Would have been the 6th player, and they were ready to play before she got to the scorer's table, I think. And it was a nice interplay with Coach Jesse and John Reynolds, both smiling. And now I think that's going to be Sullivan trying to reach around, picking up the personal foul. Abney has 2 fouls for Tampa, the only player with 2. And Allen has 2 fouls for the Panthers, the only Florida Tech player with 2. Fouls not an issue in this game. Scott, nice drive to the basket. A little hard with the left hand. And now I think steps are going to be called on Jamie Lynn Jarvis, freshman, 5'11" freshman from Fort Walton Beach High School here in Florida. It's a young team. There's a lot of freshmen or first-year players on this Florida Tech team. There's a right elbow jumper, and Nudge missed it, but look who got the rebound. Sullivan. Nelson, wide open 3, but said, let's run it for a minute. Aaliyah Abney says, nope, I'm going to shoot it. She had a wide open look, didn't get it to go. Rebound by Ugin, pushes it ahead. Scott gives it back to Ugin. Ugin defended by Ingram. Nice step through move. Doesn't get the finish, however. And now a whistle on a foul. It'll be out of bounds to the Panthers. 4 minutes left, third quarter. 25-point Tampa lead. Amanda Allen coming back into the game right now. Allen still the top scorer for the Panthers with 9 as she comes back into the game. Allen gives it up to Scott. Scott, crossover move, gets in the lane. In trouble now. Throws it up with the left hand. Nothing. Nice save by the freshman. It ends up in the hands of Nelson. Jarvis did a nice job. Good hustle there. But it ends up in the hands of the Spartans. Tampa beat Embry-Riddle on last Wednesday in their most recent game. 64-47.
Hey, another travel.
Travel on Sullivan. And coming back into the game as the players continue to shuffle in and out. Fanny Hawkinson back on the court for the Panthers. Well, when it was 20-11, the Panthers in the lead, you had to wonder what is going to happen the rest of the afternoon. But As we've headed into the evening hours, it's been all Tampa. It was like they set their alarm clock for 6 o'clock, and that was a nice reverse there by Ugin.
I was just about ready to give you the speech that Tampa doesn't panic, and then all of a sudden it was 22-20. So it was obvious.
Ugin, by the way, had missed 9 of her first 10 shots before making that one. Or I should say 8 of her first 9. She's now 2 for 10. Sullivan, step through move, drive is fouled. A little disappointed in herself that she didn't finish. But Sullivan will go to the stripe. She'll shoot 2. She's a 72% shooter on the year. She scored 12 at Embry-Riddle last Wednesday. She's had 4 20-point games, the sophomore from Winter Haven High. She had a career high assist game at St. Leo. I remember being very surprised. She had 12 assists.
Wow. Teams don't often have 12 assists.
No. Makes that free throw. But she was named the SSC Offensive Player of the Week after she scored 30 against St. Leo and then scored 29. She had scored 29 at Rollins in the previous game. So a 29 and a 30-point game back-to-back, and that three-pointer is knocked down by Hawkinson. So you can see that Sullivan has the ability to rack up some points. And I think that's really one of the things about Tampa. You know, a lot of teams have 2, 3, maybe even 4 players who can score. Tampa's got 6.
Yeah, pick yours.
I mean, they really have 6 players that can get you double figures on any night. And a chance for a three-point play here by Nudge. She's got 21 already.
And just about game in and game out, it's pretty consistent, but you'll always see one player seems to step up when you need it.
Yeah.
But when it's all said and done at the end of the game, they all are pretty consistently near their marks.
It's great balance. Sullivan averages almost 14 a game. Wright Ponder just over 14 points a game. The three-point plays completed by Nudge, who averages almost 16 a game. Nelson averages just over 8 points a game. And Ingram, there's a long three. And
wow.
It's drained by Amanda Allen. Pretty shot. That's like Damian Lillard coming across the stripe and shooting it. Almost from a logo, if there was a logo out there. Foul in the backcourt.
Yep.
By Hawkinson, I believe. But interestingly, going into the season, if you had told me that Julia Ingram would be the 5th leading scorer on the team, I would have said, no way.
Yeah, I thought she might have stepped it up a little more, but she hasn't had to.
No.
But she may lead the team in minutes played because she rarely comes out of the lineup.
Good defender.
And she runs
very heady,
she runs
steady. Yeah.
You know, she isn't the point guard, but the
ball goes through her.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can't believe she missed a free throw.
Wow.
That's a rare occasion.
Mark the calendar.
She'd only missed 2 all season. Now 15 of 18 on the year. Not a lot of free throw attempts because, again, three-point shooters usually are camped out there beyond the arc. And there's a three-point shot, short. Hauled in by Sullivan, who goes coast to coast and is fouled. I think Allen picks up her 3rd foul, and she actually ran over to the bench saying, "That's 3 for me, coach. I'm going to sit down."
Haven't been a lot of fouls called.
No.
First time all game any team has reached 6 fouls for the quarter.
Michaela Daniels comes back in, the 5'11 sophomore from Augusta, Georgia, Seminole High School. Wright Ponder, therefore, comes back in, kind of matching up size-wise with Daniels, who's 5'11. Daniels kind of rolled her eyes when Wright Ponder came back in. It was like, oh, no, I don't want to see Wright Ponder. It's been a problem for every Sunshine State Conference team this year. The twin towers of Wright Ponder and Nudge. They're not on the floor together at the moment. Oh, yes, they are. I'm sorry. Dory, I misplaced her for a moment on the floor. There's a nice drive, kicked out. Julia's daughter not even looking to shoot, just gave it up, and that ball is blocked by Wright Ponder. Hawkinson tried to shoot it right over her. Boy, there was another hop, skip, and a jump before she got the ball down, but mercifully no whistle on that one. Sullivan got away with another without getting called for another turnover. And a nice basket there by Julia's daughter. The 5'8" senior, she scored a career-high 18 points as a sophomore against Nova Southeastern. The most she has scored this year is 16. That was on Saturday against Embry-Riddle. Turnover.
Wright Ponder wasn't ready for that. Usually when Sullivan drives like that, she's going to take the jumper or go all the way to the hoop. This time she turned around and fed back out.
And Tom Jesse did address that with Sullivan, saying your teammates were not expecting that because usually you've been going to the basket. Saying, I think, almost word for word what you said.
Wright Ponder was actually working her way toward the rim for rebounds.
Yeah.
Going to let this one run down to a few seconds.
3-second difference between the shot and game clocks. Down to 7 to shoot right now. And a quick three-point shot off the iron. Boy, it's just not going for Fanny Paulin here today. 3.5 seconds. Nudge. Gives to Nelson. 3 at the buzzer. Just missed. And we've reached the end of the third quarter here in Tampa. The Spartans trying for their 18th consecutive victory and trying to move to 17-0 in the SSC, leading Florida Tech by 21. It's 67-46.
Dory Nudge, 10 points in the quarter. One of only 4 Spartans who scored in the quarter, but she had double digits. To go with 4 rebounds.
Yep.
Picked up an assist.
Nudge just 1 rebound away from her 9th double-double of the season. She had 9 last year in her first season at Tampa. So looking for her 18th career double-double right here. Just a rebound away. Wright Ponder in that last game against Embry-Riddle on the road had a double-double, her 7th of the season. 18 points and 10 rebounds. I think there was a typo on the game recap. It said 18 points and 18 rebounds, and I thought, wow, that's a new career high. But then I saw the box, and it was 10. So still a nice performance.
Well, this is the first of 3 consecutive home games for Tampa, and pretty much a chance to sew up the conference regular season. They're playing today, Florida Tech. Saturday, it's Barry coming to town, and next Wednesday, Florida Southern comes to town. That'll be a big game.
Yes, it will. Should mention that former all-conference performer Elena D'Alfredo will be here with us on Saturday, providing color commentary, and we're going to do something a little special as Sullivan gets all the way to the basket and scores. Because her family watches the Tampa games in Spain, we're going to have her call part of the game in Spanish.
All right.
And then convert to the English so that we know what she says. You're going to translate so that we know, and a chance for a 3-point opportunity here for the Panthers.
That'll be nice.
That'll be kind of nice, I think.
She did say, she did a half with me last week, and she did say that her parents don't know English, but she said, they say you enunciate so well, both of you. And I'm like, but if they don't know what we're saying, how does she know we enunciate so well?
It's our smooth velvet voices that they must like.
Yep.
Free throw, no good by Daniels. So got the bucket, didn't get the free throw. It's a 21-point lead still. But I think that'll be kind of interesting. And in fact, I know that you and I both have tweeted out that she was going to be there. And we included at ESPN Deportes.
Yes.
Because we'd love to have.
So take a listen.
Have a listen. The basket is made.
Wright Ponder to double digits. Now just a rebound away from a double-double.
You never know. That might be the start of something big for Elena.
And let's hope she remembers us when she's famous.
Julia's daughter might have got away with steps herself.
I would think so.
Hawkinson.
There may be a quota on that call tonight.
There's a 3 knocked down by Fanny Hawkinson.
It's an unorthodox shot. It's almost a shot put.
It is. It's kind of almost at an angle, a side kind of thing. But it was pretty effective that time. And again, 35% shooting on the year, and she's made a bunch of them. Nelson to the rack.
Boy, just blew past everybody.
small but mighty, Chris Nelson. She's got 14 now, 6 of 8 shooting. Even had a couple of threes today. That one's too long. Wright Ponder with the rebound, and she has a double-double. Her 8th of the season.
Well, they're not going to get, they have 23 pointers, so they've got to get 5 more to get to what they thought they had to do. They actually have hit 10.
Wright Ponder with a right-hand hook is fouled. In the act of shooting, she'll shoot a couple.
Both teams have taken 50 shots. And did you say John Reynolds said it's about a 60-shot game?
Yeah, he said we want 60 or 70. He says they're going to only allow us 50 if we play their game. Mm-hmm. Well, so they're getting a few more than that.
Yeah.
That first quarter was definitely what they wanted.
And they're shooting well. They're 20 of 50. That's 40%. Not bad. Tampa, though, is 30 of 50, 60%.
Yeah. Same amount of attempts, 10 more makes. Hence the 20-point lead. It's 22, actually, but...
And you look at rebounds, 36 to 16. The Spartans have more than doubled up the rebounds.
Yes, indeed. And I want to check one thing as I go to the home stats. I want to see the offensive rebound totals. Wright Ponder has 2 offensive rebounds. Nudge has 5 offensive rebounds. The Spartans have 9 offensive boards.
9-4, I believe.
Yeah. They've had 3 in this half.
Second chance points, 12 to 3. I mean, just a statistical dominance so far.
Yeah.
And that also is indicative of the score.
It is interesting. We've seen Florida Tech teams in the past, and Tom Jesse was talking about this with me earlier today. He said, they used to be, they would hang their hat on being very physical and being a defensive-minded team. He says they've really gone now with the players that they've recruited to three-point shooting, wanting to be three-point shooters. And they're 8 and 9 in the conference, 12 and 13 overall. But they started to play very well and make a lot of threes. And again, they overcame that 24-5 deficit in their most recent game to win in overtime. So they're starting to do some good things. And again, had won 4 of their last 6 prior to today. Left elbow jumper. Julia's daughter, air ball, no good. Trying to lob it inside. Wright Ponder stole it. It's 2-on-1. Sullivan kept it and scored it. Sullivan adds to her total. She's got 17 now.
Her game has just picked up a lot as well. Just the confidence is oozing.
Yeah, really. We saw Abney come into the game, and as she, on mention of her name, here she comes into the game. Abney has done the same kind of thing. Both she and Sullivan are very athletic. They get the ball, and they can create off the dribble and get to the rim. They do a lot of really good things that way, which adds to the post play of Dory Nudge and Wright Ponder.
Might be too little too late, but a little full court. Well, they picked him up in the backcourt. They called it off.
Then you add the three-point shooting of Julia Ingram. Certainly Chris Nelson's showing she can hit the three. And Sullivan is tied up on the shot. It's going to go to Florida Tech on the arrow pointing that way. Good defense that time by the Panthers. But time's running short on their behalf. There's a shot by Paulin. And it's, again, no good. You feel bad for her. You know that she's a better shooter than that. So
Dory with her 10th rebound, and she and Wright Ponder with double-doubles today.
Yep.
And I think you mentioned Wright Ponder is a walking double-double, seems like.
Yep, that's her 8th and Nudge's 9th of the year. So they both are kind of double-doubles. There was a time where Wright Ponder was averaging a double-double.
Double-double, yeah.
Look at Sullivan. Get to the rim. Wow.
You know what's scary is, as you mentioned earlier, Chris Nelson's the only senior. And she's going to be a big loss.
Yep. But Maya Justo says, let me at him.
Well, yeah.
She can't wait. Shot no good. Certainly not Florida Tech's best game. And you feel for him. John Reynolds said, we will have to make our three-point shots to have a chance to beat this team.
Well,
Tampa's that good.
10 of 22.
And they started out, certainly.
5 of 7, yeah.
It's Nudge inside. Ball knocked out of bounds off of Scott, who got a hand on it. And we're going to see a substitution. Anna Popovich, the 6'1 junior from England, coming into the game for Dory Nudge. Dory's
probably the day is done.
Obviously, I think at this point, Nudge with 22 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists. A nice game for Dory. Ingram right at the rim. No. Popovich. Anna Popovich has scored her first basket at the Bob Martinez Athletics Center. She was 1 for 19 this season before making that shot.
Wow.
And that shot was made on the road. Her first basket.
I saw the big smile on her face. I didn't, and she's still smiling.
She's still smiling. And look at her teammates. They know that she doesn't shoot much. Interestingly, I want to give her, okay. She is not, in the last 13 games, she never took more than 1 field goal attempt.
Okay.
So she doesn't shoot much.
Right, she does not.
There were 5 games. The first 5 games, she took either 2 or 3 field goal attempts. But since then, in those last 13 games, no more than 1. And I think there were 4 where she didn't shoot at all.
She was getting more playing time earlier in this season.
Right. Paulin with another miss, but they get the ball back, and she steps inside now. Gives it up. Nice pass and almost an assist, but Wright Ponder another rebound, her 11th.
You know, earlier in the season, Tom Jesse with non-conference games just wanted to see who he's got, but you know, it's hard to take Wright Ponder and Nudge out of the lineup.
That's it. and again, you're talking about a 6'1 player who does some of the same things. She's a post player.
Yeah.
And so that shot too hard by Wright Ponder. It's out of bounds to Florida Tech. Tom Jesse and some of the players on the Tampa bench said that was tipped by a Panther player, and maybe it was, but
yeah, let's save it for another day.
Yeah, you're up 30. It's not the time to be
Terry Battle getting ready to come in.
Yeah, Terry Battle, another 6'1 player in her first year here at Tampa. She is a junior out of Chicago. She'll come in next dead ball. Inside, Wright Ponder got there to defend it. I'd love to see Fanny Paulin make a three-point shot before this day is done. She has certainly tried and been frustrated. 1 for 7 from deep, 1 of 9 overall. A frustrating day for the junior from Sweden. I've seen, you know, we saw her early in the season. I thought she was a good-looking player, and I know she is. It's just the shots haven't gone today. As Abney is fouled shooting. Battle will come in momentarily, and I think Maya Justo will be replacing Chris Nelson. Battle's coming in for Wright Ponder. Nelson checks out with a beautiful game, 14 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists. Just 1 off her career high. Battle coming into the game. Terry averaging about a point a game. This is her 16th game. She played her first 2 years at Bowling Green State University. Abney with that unique free throw style whips it around her back just before letting the free throw go. Worked that time. And she's a 77% shooter on the year. Eyes it, gets it, shoots it. Success. Well, certainly this has been a remarkable bounce back by the Spartans after that sluggish start to this game. Whistle and
travel before the foul.
Just the 12th turnover. Both teams with 12 turnovers now.
Well, the one thing the Spartans have learned during this winning streak is they're going to get every team's best shot. And every team has really come out and given them a couple punches early. And the Spartans haven't flinched.
Battle right at the basket. No good. Rebound. Hauled in by Jamie Lynn Jarmus. Going the other direction. Hawkinson to the hoop. Nice scoop up and in. 83-53. Spartans are just 2 points away from tying their season high. They scored 85 against Rollins.
I thought they might have been on like a 90-point pace earlier. They're close if they wanted to.
Skip.
I don't know if they want to.
Popovich goes to battle, who hopped without putting the ball down. That'll be a travel.
Kind of lost her balance there.
Yeah. And checking in for Tampa now is Carly Cawley, making her second appearance of the season. A 5'4" freshman from Lincoln University. A walk-on from out of Caravel Academy. Ball knocked away. Scott retrieves. Scott gives it up. Hawkinson, long three, no good. Long rebound into Scott's hands. Back out to Hawkinson. 2:40 left. Tampa by 30 over the Panthers of Florida Tech. I'm Scott Lynn, Jack Ike alongside. He'll have the call of the men's game coming up. Battle with the rejection of Jarvis. The freshman turned around and battle at 6'1". The junior was ready for that. Tough day all around for the Panthers of Florida Tech. Driving to the basket, Abney is going to be called for the offensive foul.
Or a foul. Yep.
Offensive foul. You almost want to have Anna Popovich on as your post-game guest.
Yeah.
After she got her first basket here late in the season. I'm kidding, of course, but happy for her.
Yes.
And all of her teammates were. Julia Ingram went over and congratulated her after she got that basket. That's a pretty cool moment. The freshman, no good, and Abney the rebound. Jarvis had a nice-looking move that time.
It was.
Couldn't get it to drop. And travel is going to be called, and that's going to bring in more substitutions. 6'3" junior Aaron Antosh is coming into the game, along with Aubrey Clapsaddle. This is the second game for both of those two. They've played 3 and 4 minutes, respectively. Clapsaddle 3 minutes, Antosh 4. Clapsaddle has made 1 of 2 from beyond the arc. We might be watching number 42 to shoot a 3. Oh, that almost went. That was Cawley, who was looking for her first points of the season. Jada Hall gives it up to Julia's daughter. Hands to Paulin. Paulin on the dribble. Gives it up to Scott. Good defense by Tampa, but all the way to the basket and scoring is Scott. The junior from England, 2-year letter winner. Gets a bucket for Florida Tech to bring it under the 30-point deficit mark. With just over a minute to play. Here comes Justo giving to Popovich. And a whistle and a foul. It's going to be out of bounds. It's only the third team foul. Cawley, I think, was looking going, oh, am I going to shoot free throws? But no.
I was in the act of shooting, I think.
57.6 to go. Jack will have the call of the men's game coming up a half hour after conclusion of this one. We will have a post-game guest. Lob inside. Antosh throws it up high, no good. Was looking for her first points of the season. That shot is off the arc, off the iron, no good. Whistle and a foul on Justo, trying to take the ball away from Jarvis. It's the 4th team foul for Tampa, so it'll be Panther basketball underneath. And as we have said many times, we have our choice of post-game guests, but I think we have, because of the start Chris Nelson had and the fact we haven't talked to the senior in a while.
Yep.
And the remarkable run that the Spartans have been on, let's talk to Chris at the end of this.
The lone senior on the squad.
Yeah.
Nice game today, 14 points, 6 of 8 shooting, 2 of 3 from 3, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, no fouls.
Nice. Rebound there by Clapsaddle. She's on the stats sheet now. And Justo will dribble out the clock. And the starters on the bench all applaud the reserves, who will dribble out the final 4 seconds, and the game will end. Florida Tech had won 4 of its last 6, but they lose today here, 83. 83-55, the final. So we'll talk to Chris Nelson in a moment. The leading scorer for Florida Tech was Hawkinson with 16 points. She made 4 of 6 from beyond the arc. Allen scored 12, the only 2 players in double figures scoring. Morton had 7, 6 for Scott, 5 for Ugan. And other players had 3 or fewer points. For Tampa, Dory Nudge lead the way, 22 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists. Wright Ponder had a double-double as well, as we mentioned, 12 points, 11 rebounds. She had 2 assists. Sullivan, 19 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. Aaliyah Abney had 10 points off the bench with 7 rebounds. And our guest, our post-game guest.
Hey, how you doing?
Chris Nelson is with us. Her stats line, 14 points, 6 of 8 from the floor, 2 of 3 from deep, 5 rebounds, 6 assists. Again, a nice overall game. And Chris, you really got it going right from the start. I mean, did you come out with the mindset of, I'm going to be offensive-minded today?
Never offensive-minded. I think I always come out defensive-minded, but it's always like I'm always going to come out aggressive with my teammates and try to just make them know that I'm in a good mood, so everybody should be in a good mood, you know?
Well, you put them in a good mood. Now, you fell behind 20-11, and you were in the game partly because you were shooting well and scoring. Were you surprised by that? I mean, you knew that they were going to shoot threes.
Oh, yeah, and we knew they were going to shoot it well, so was I surprised that they were going to shoot it well? No, not with his team. So yeah.
So, but you got it going, and obviously Dory got hot, and Dory ends up with a double-double.
Yeah.
Shea ends up with a double-double as well.
Yeah.
I mean, Malia does what Malia does.
Yeah.
But I have you over here because we haven't talked to you since, I think, the opening game when you scored your career high against Spring Hill. Is that who it was? Spring Hill in the opener. 18 points that night. But again, your shooting today, I thought, set the tone for the comeback and allowed your team to do it. So again, you guys have won 18 in a row.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, God bless, right?
Isn't it crazy? Did you, I mean, there have been some games that you've been behind. Both Eckerd games, you trailed in the third quarter by double digits. You've had games that you've had to come from behind big time. But you've always found a way. Why do you think that is? Is it just the balance? Almost anybody could be the difference?
I think the balance is definitely something that could be a part of it, but I feel like every game that we played down or up, we always felt like we were the underdogs, no matter what the score is, no matter what anything else, because last year that's what we were. So you want to be humble in everything that you do, especially now when we go into the long run. You still want to act like you're the underdog regardless if you're up, because it really pushes you. So. And
I read in the paper, in the Minaret, that you guys always look at Wednesday and Saturday as we want to be 1-0 today.
Period. and we respect every team as if they are the best team, as if they are the championship team. And that's what gets us through. So
you're the only senior on the team.
Yeah.
How much? I know you got a long way to go this year, but how weird is it going to be watching all of your teammates playing next year and you're not part of that? That's gonna stink, isn't it?
I mean, I think it's gonna suck. I think it's gonna be sad for me because, I've been playing basketball for a very long time and I'm gonna miss it. But it's time for me to move on. It's time for a new chapter in my life. So,
but you got a long way to go this year and a lot still to accomplish.
Fact. I'm gonna keep it going as long as I can. So,
congratulations on a great game, a great season. Keep it rolling. Obviously, you were 3 games ahead in the conference standings at the start of the day. You win today. You've all but wrapped up the #1 seed, and that's got to be a good feeling.
Thank you. Actually, I had no idea. About that either.
Just going 1-0.
We literally just played. Oh, this is the next game. Got it. Don't even care about the standings.
All right. Do you know who you play next?
We play Barry next.
So you don't even know,
I wouldn't even know. Whoever he puts the scout on, that's what we're going to work on. So it's all about this game today. So,
all right.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Great game. Chris Nelson, go celebrate with your team.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right. You're welcome. She's a terrific player, and again, the lone senior, one of the co-captains, and she was one of the differences in this game. Nelson with 14 points, one of 5 Tampa players in double figure scoring. Again, the final score was 83-55. Tampa's 34-12 second quarter, truly the difference in the game. And the Spartans shoot 57% from the field in the game. We mentioned a lot about the three-point shooting for Florida Tech. They end up 10 of 24 from deep after starting 5 of 7 in that first quarter. They end up shooting 42% from deep and 33% from the floor overall. Only shot 2 free throws. Tampa shot 16. Again, that's because of the inside game. The fouls were happening inside. Bottom line, Tampa wins it. They've won 18 straight. They're in command of the Sunshine State Conference race and probably the #1 seed, having home court advantage maybe all the way throughout the SSC tournament. So that's going to do it. 83-55 the final for Jack Ike. This is Scott Lynn inviting you to stay with us. About 20 minutes from now, 20 to 25 minutes from now, we'll have the men's game for you. Jack will call it. I'll have the color analysis, and we will have fun as Florida Tech, the men, take on the men of UT. For Jack, this is Scott. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you soon.